Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Texas, Dr. Paul. The gentleman is recognized for 2 minutes.
Gentlelady for yielding. I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Madam Speaker, I rise in opposition to this resolution, not because I am taking sides and picking who the bad guys are and who the good guys are, but I'm looking at this more from the angle of being a United States citizen, an American, and I think resolutions like this really do us great harm. In many ways, what's happening in the Middle East, and in particular with Gaza right now, we have some moral responsibility for both sides in a way, because we provide help and funding for both Arab nations and Israel. And so we definitely have a moral responsibility, and especially now today, the weapons being used to kill so many Palestinians are American weapons, and American funds essentially are being used for this. But there's a political liability, which I think is something that we fail to look at, because too often there's so much blowback from our intervention in areas that we shouldn't be involved in. You know, Hamas, if you look at the history, you'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel, because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat. And you said, well, yeah, that was better then and served its purpose, but we didn't want Hamas to do this. So then we as Americans say, well, we have such a good system, we're going to impose this on the world. We're going to invade Iraq and teach people how to be Democrats. We want free elections. So we encourage the Palestinians to have a free election. They do, and they elect Hamas. So we first, indirectly and directly through Israel, help establish Hamas. Then we have election. Then Hamas becomes dominant, so we have to kill them. You know, it just...
All praises to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, forever and ever, so let it be true. Love, honor, and respect to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and to His Holy Son, Yahweh Shai, for dying for the 12 tribes of Israel. Double honors to the apostles of GMS, to the 4 major prophets, and to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 brothers, the Akim, the saints, the brothers who are preaching the word of God on the 4 corners of this earth, risking their lives day in and day out. And peace and blessings to all you brothers and sisters and children who are watching these videos. We're on another lesson, and this one's going to be about the Mossad. So here in America, the Pentagon, you have the CIA, and in Israel, it's called the Mossad. Okay, it's your Central Institute for Intelligence and Special Operations, one of the 3 major intelligence organizations of Israel, along with Amman Military Intelligence and Shabbat Internal Security. The Mossad is concerned with foreign intelligence, gathering intelligence, analysts, and covert operations. Okay, you remember what happened in October 7th. So in this video, it's going to be, I have a couple scriptures that I'm going to bring out. It's going to tie in with October 7th. It ties in what happened on 9/11. It ties in with World War I, World War II. And you brothers and sisters can watch the video. Like the brothers, all the brothers, you know, we know what's going on, okay? Because we read the Bible every day, and we know Satan rules the nations. He rules the kings of the earth, the Caesars of this earth, okay? America, Europe, which is NATO, the ancient Roman Empire, and you have Israel. So you have the 3, okay? And they work together. And the Rothschilds control Europe, they control America, In America, in the Bible, is called the great prostitute who sits on the beach, which is the ancient Roman Empire. And then you have Israel, which they stole that land. The Amalekites, the grandson of Esau. Okay? Esau is the father, which is the Greco-Roman America Empire. And then Israel, the people who stole the land, that's that grandson, which is the Rothschilds, who rule the four corners of this earth. They want the whole earth, but they control the banking system of the world. Okay, your major banks in Europe and America, and they control that Federal Reserve where they just keep on printing money. So the Mossad ties in with October 7th. And same thing with the CIA. We'll see if this video even gets posted. But I'm going to put a video up that shows one of your politicians whistleblowing on them Rothschilds, the Zionists, the Amalekites that took over the Holy Land. Okay? Because the rural tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levite is here in America. All the 12 tribes are here in America. And you have the prophets and the 144,000 are prophesying. But I'm going to put that video up, and then there'll be a video before, there'll be a couple videos I'll put up. Like I said, for you brothers and sisters, you need to do your research, and you'll know what's happening, in this world. Like I said, the TV is their tool to brainwash the masses. Okay, that's a tool that they use. And like I said, most of Americans believe everything that they see on the news. If it comes from ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and Fox News, which the Rothschilds control all of your TV stations, your newspapers, all right? They're the ones that write all those producers out there in Hollywood. They're all Amalekites, all right? Those are not the real Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Book. They're the Hebrew Edomites, okay? And like I said, they created these, they created Hamas, they created other proxy mercenaries, all right? They make their own boogeyman, all right? See, they deflect everything off of them. They'll like I said, we're dealing with sociopaths, psychopaths, all right? And they know everything about mind psychology, okay? And most people have no understanding of their surroundings, of the real evil that's on the four corners of this earth. That's why in the Holy Book of Genesis, God talks about the serpent and his children being the most cunning of the field, of the jungle, of the four corners of this earth. They're very cunning. Deception is their game. They're the master of ceremonies. Okay? So they create how would I say, they create wars, they create these boogeymen, and they'll create these mercenaries to do their dirty work, and then they come to look like a hero. But they're the ones behind everything. They're the ones pulling the strings. All right, like I said, whistleblowers, we're living in the end days, and it's in the Holy Book that the Illuminated ones, the Illuminati, they will whistleblow on their own. and you'll see this politician talking about the CIA, the Mossad, the secret intelligence, that they created these mercenaries, all right? Like they created ISIS. Like most Americans, they won't believe it. It's like I said, Americans are dumb and dumber, all right? But like I said, people are waking up around the world and they see the truth. They see that this country is the hypocritical country of the world, and they're bloodthirsty. All right? They're bloodthirsty for war. War is money. Like I said, we're in that fourth turning. But this is the last of the fourth turning. All right? World War III, Civil War, race wars, economic collapse. But they're behind everything. Like I said, they're the master of ceremony. These are the most evil, wicked, cunning demons on the earth. So I'm going to read out of the Holy Book, Revelations chapter 12, verse 9. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old. That dragon is that Roman Empire, that's America, that's Israel, that's Satan, that's his legions, and their children, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, your Pentagon, your Federal Reserve, your Judicial Supreme Court, your Congress, and all the psychopaths, all right, the perverts of the world, Satan's children. All right, and so the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. That's the key. Who deceives the whole world? Because everybody believes that 9/11, they believe Osama bin Laden. He was connected with the Bush family. I'm going to bring videos on the Bushes, the Clintons. They're all tied together, all right? They were in collusion with Osama bin Laden, and this comes from a billionaire family, all right? The people in Saudi Arabia, they have millions, billions, and trillions of dollars, all right? But on 9/11, still today, people believe that Osama bin Laden did that. 9/11. 3 buildings went down. You had the Pentagon get hit. Like I said, they created the boogeyman. They were in collusion with them, but they had to make a boogeyman to get the American people. See, they had to do the brainwashing with television. That was all scripted. All right, they already knew the names of the guys that were on the plane. Within hours, they were already saying that everybody that was on all the so-called terrorists that were on those planes. All right, to this day, people believe that they were behind it. When the Rothschilds were behind it, they were in those high-rise buildings. That was a sacrifice, and they do everything on certain days, certain numbers. All right. On certain full moons. I mean, they're into the months, astrology, but they're behind it, just like they were behind World War I and World War II. All right? They're the ones that started World War III. We've been in World War III. Like I said, we're going into the second quarter, but this is the key. Who deceives the whole world? And they deceive the whole world by television, newspapers, magazines, and 99.9% of people believe everything that they see. Like Satan can't put a wool over our eyes, right? We're going to go into the Holy Book of Luke, the Holy Book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 2 and 3. For there is nothing covered that will not be revealed, For nothing is hidden that will be manifest, nor hidden that will be known. Therefore, whatever you have spoken in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have spoken in the inner rooms will be proclaimed on the housetops. Everything will come to light. Satan and his children's wickedness, they do everything in the dark. They pass unjust laws against you. That was 9/11. They set up courts and they make false accusations. They'll create these wars and they'll create these terrorist attacks so they could squeeze the population. They could make these laws against you. Like they already have the guillotines, the concentration camps to put you, they'll accuse you of being a terrorist. Okay? So they can lock you up and put you in the guillotines. Alright? But they're the ones that create these terrorist attacks. We're living in the times of evil and people.
2 minutes to the gentleman from Texas, Dr. Paul.
I
The gentleman is recognized for 2 minutes.
Gentlelady for yielding and ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Madam Speaker, I rise in opposition to this resolution, not because I am taking sides and picking who the bad guys are and who the good guys are, but I'm looking at this more from the angle of being a United States citizen, an American. And I think resolutions like this really do us great harm. In many ways, what's happening in the Middle East, and in particular with Gaza right now, we have some moral responsibility for both sides in a way, because we provide help and funding for both Arab nations and Israel. And so we definitely have a moral responsibility, and especially now today, the weapons being used to kill so many Palestinians are American weapons, and American funds essentially are being used for this. But there's a political liability, which I think is something that we fail to look at, because too often there's so much blowback from our intervention in areas that we shouldn't be involved in. You know, Hamas, if you look at the history, you'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel, because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat. And you said, well, yeah, that was better then and served its purpose, but we didn't want Hamas to do this. So then we as Americans say, well, we have such a good system, we're going to impose this on the world. We're going to invade Iraq and teach people how to be Democrats. We want free elections. So we encourage the Palestinians to have a free election. They do, and they elect Hamas. So we first indirectly and directly through Israel help establish Hamas. Then we have an election. Then Hamas becomes dominant, so we have to kill them. You know, it just doesn't make sense. During the 80s, you know, we were allied with Osama bin Laden. And we were contending with the Soviets. It was at that time our CIA thought it was good if we radicalized the Muslim world. So we financed the madrasa schools to radicalize the Muslims in order to compete with the Soviets. There's too much blowback. There's a lot of reasons why we should oppose this resolution. It is not in the interest of the United States. It's not in the interest of Israel either.
The Palestinian militant group Hamas has carried out brutal acts of terror against Israeli civilians, and Israeli and American leaders are always keen to tell us how dangerous and evil Hamas is.
The inhumanity of Hamas.
I have no sympathy for Hamas.
That keep shelling Israel with thousands of rockets and mortar shells.
But what if I told you that Israel helped create Hamas? Officially, Hamas, which is the acronym for an Arabic phrase meaning Islamic Resistance Movement, was founded in 1987, at the start of the first Palestinian Intifada, or uprising against the Israeli occupation. but its roots were planted much earlier. The Hamas founder Sheikh Ahmed Yassin was a half-blind, disabled Palestinian cleric and member of the Muslim Brotherhood. The Brotherhood had been repressed by the Egyptians in Gaza prior to 1967, but once the Israelis invaded and occupied the Strip, they didn't just turn a blind eye to these Islamists, they encouraged them. See, the Israelis, especially right-wing Israelis, wanted to undermine the power of the dominant Palestinian political force at that time, the nationalist PLO, at the heart of which was the secular Fatah party of Yasser Arafat, their bête noire.
بغصن الزيتون في يدي وببندقية الثائر في يدي.
By empowering Sheikh Yassin and the Muslim Brotherhood, Israeli leaders thought they could divide and rule the occupied Palestinians, play them off against each other, secular nationalists against religious Islamists. So in 1978, when Yassin wanted to officially register his Islamic Association, which was basically the precursor to Hamas, the Israelis were only too keen to help. Yassin built and grew a network of Islamist social institutions across Gaza, including schools and clubs and mosques, and Israel helped fund some of those projects. Most American politicians have no clue about any of this, although the former Republican Congressman Ron Paul once made this point on the floor of the House.
Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat.
Arafat himself told